Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Our topic is general angles of trigonometry in A level. This topic is included in AS level trigonometry. Actually, what we have already discussed, or that the trigonometric ratios were defined with the reference of a right angle triangle. So a right angle triangle has two acute angles in it. So all the references of the ratios sine theta, cos theta, tangent theta, these are with respect to any of the two angles, which both of them are acute angles. And those angles were in a triangle. Anywhere we can draw that triangle. But now we have to relate those concepts with a Cartesian plane. Cartesian plane, that grid is known as Cartesian plane, in which there is horizontal line and vertical line named as x-axis and y-axis. So these x and y-axis divide a plane into four parts, four equal parts. So each quarter of that plane, that is called quadrant. And we start from here with the definition of quadrant, and then we will relate it to the ratios of general angles. So general angles here, first of all, what are the four quadrants? This way, if this is x-axis, then this is named as positive x-axis, and this is positive y-axis, this is negative y-axis, and this is negative y-axis. This one quarter, total that is 360, then one quarter of it is 90 degrees. So this is named as first quadrant. And in anti-clockwise order, this is named as second quadrant, this is third quadrant, and the last one, first quadrant is from 0 to 90 degrees, then second quadrant is from 90 to 180 degrees, then third quadrant 90 to 180 to 270, and then 270 to 360. This is fourth quadrant. So these four quadrants, if we write it here, first quadrant is 0 to 90 degrees. Second quadrant, that is 90 degrees to 180 degrees. Third quadrant, that is from 180 degree to 270 degrees, and the fourth one, fourth quadrant, that is from 270 degrees to 360 degrees. These are four quadrants. Now, if we draw a line in any one of these quadrants to make an angle, so this angle may be sometimes larger than 90 or less than 180, or in this quadrant larger than 180 and within 270, or in this range, then how we will relate these angles with our basic concept of right angle triangle. Basic concept what we have discussed in that concept, our ratios were restricted to this triangle. If this is theta, which is always acute, this is opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse. If we name them A, B, C, this is A, B, and C. Very quickly I just remind you that these are the things which we have done. This is A upon C, cos theta is B upon C, and tangent theta, that is A upon B. We have done all these in detail. If you have any problem, you can go back to the video about the introduction to trigonometry. You can find the detail of this concept. Okay, now we come to our topic, that is general angle, general angles. We will discuss three things, mainly three things under this topic. That is number one, positive angle, positive angles or angle. Second, negative angle, and the third thing what we will discuss, that is reference angle. Reference angle, or sometimes it is also named as basic angle or associated acute angle. So let's see, first of all, positive angle. Positive angle, as I have said, that in acute angle triangle, in right angle triangle actually, we know the names of ratios. So far we will discuss only the angles. Later on we will relate them to those concepts of right angle triangle. Positive angle, let's write a formal definition of it, then we will come refer to this figure. So positive angle is denoted by theta. So theta, or let me write the word positive angle in the beginning. Initially we write the word positive angle is an angle measured with positive x-axis anti-clockwise. There is no actually there is no limit of the value. It may be between 0 and 360 or more than 360 even, but initially you can consider them. That's why I am writing these words in bracket, between 0 degree and 360 degrees. Initially we will consider this range, and later on you can extend it to 720 degrees or even more than that. There are some general expressions of these angles, but we will restrict ourselves only to the basic definitions. So in the first quadrant, what is positive angle? If a line is making an angle in a grid of x and y axis in the first quadrant. If it is here, this is y axis. According to this definition, angle measured with positive x-axis anti-clockwise. So this is positive x-axis and this is anti-clockwise. So this will be theta. You can see that we are taking the angle anti-clockwise until that line. Okay, in the second quadrant, If the line is making an angle here, then once again, what does the definition say? That angle measured with positive x-axis anti-clockwise. So we follow that definition, that starting from positive x-axis and anti-clockwise till the line, this angle is positive angle. You can see that we are following this definition, and the angle is measured anti-clockwise. In third quadrant, if a line is making an angle in third quadrant, this one, so this is the angle with positive x-axis and anti-clockwise. So this will be theta, positive angle. Okay, next that will be fourth quadrant. So it will be, this is the line making an angle with positive x-axis, once again according to the definition, starting from positive x-axis anti-clockwise. So this is theta, this whole angle, this is anti-clockwise, you can see. So this angle, these angles are between 0 and 360. Any angle, it may be greater than 0 and less than 360. We can consider that angle as positive angle if we are measuring it anti-clockwise. Okay, now negative angles. Negative angle now. You can say that it has almost same definition. If I copy these words from here, then I think you can understand better. So this is the definition of positive angle. Now what changes we need to make in it in order to make it negative angle? So negative angle is an angle measured with same positive x-axis, but this time not anti-clockwise, but I remove the word anti from here, so it is clockwise. This time it is clockwise. So that is the difference, that negative angle is measured with the same positive x-axis clockwise. And this is also, initially you can say that this is between, obviously negative angle is it, so between minus 360 degrees and 0 degree. These are negative angles. So once again in different quadrants, in first quadrant, if we draw in first quadrant, line is here to make an angle. This is positive x-axis. So according to this definition, we have to move clockwise with positive x. This is positive x-axis. Clockwise, we keep on moving until this line. So this angle is negative angle. You can see that we move anti-clockwise this way. Now in second quadrant, if a line making an angle is in the second quadrant, then once again following the definition, starting from positive x-axis clockwise until the line reaches, so this is negative angle, you can see this is clockwise. Okay. Now, what if the line is in third quadrant? Line is here in the third quadrant, then starting with positive x-axis clockwise, this is negative angle, this is clockwise, and this is in third quadrant. Now, fourth quadrant, if the line is in fourth quadrant, here this is positive x, then this is the angle, negative angle, clockwise. So these are negative angles. Now reference angle. Reference angle. Actually, reference angle is the same reference of right angle triangle like this one. So this triangle is not necessary always to be in this form, like this is reference angle. If it is in second quadrant, triangle will be in this way, then this is opposite and this is adjacent. In third quadrant, the line will be here, then right angle triangle will be here, and this will be opposite, and this is adjacent. In fourth quadrant, if line is here, then the triangle will be formed this way. Then this will be the opposite and this will be adjacent. So wherever is the line, we make that basic right angle triangle in that line, then the angle with the nearest x-axis, that is reference angle or basic angle. So reference angle, or you can say basic angle, it is also named as associated acute angle. And is denoted by alpha. Here we will denote it by alpha. So how we can define reference angle? So reference angle is always an acute angle, is an acute angle with the nearest x-axis. Okay, and it is denoted by alpha. So alpha is always between 0 and 90 degrees. It does not depend on the quadrant in which is it, but it will always be acute. So in the first quadrant, if the line is in first quadrant here, this is the acute angle, and you can see that this is the basic right angle triangle which can be formed. So this will be the acute angle, reference angle or basic angle. This will be its opposite and this is its adjacent. Now if the line is in second quadrant, so in the second quadrant, what basic right angle triangle can be formed in this quadrant? That is this one. So this will be the acute angle, which we will name as reference angle, and this side will be its adjacent, and this side will be opposite to this reference angle. Okay, in third quadrant, if the line is in the third quadrant, then what basic right angle triangle you can make in it? That's this one. Then this will be alpha. This side is opposite and this is adjacent. And now final in the fourth quadrant, if the line is in the fourth quadrant, then what basic triangle we can make? This is alpha, this is opposite, and this is adjacent. One thing, have you noticed that all these basic right angle triangles we have formed with x-axis? Not here. We have not considered triangle here. So this is the condition to consider a reference angle, that whatever triangle you will make, its right angle, 90-degree angle, that will be between x-axis and its perpendicular line, not with y-axis. So everywhere the angle is formed with x-axis, then it is considered reference angle. The reference angle is not considered with vertical line. Okay, now relation between positive angle, that is theta, and reference angle, that is alpha. So relation between theta and alpha, once again we will relate them in all the four quadrants. So in the first quadrant, it will be here, if this is alpha, so this is positive x-axis, sorry. Positive x-axis. If this angle is alpha, same here, this angle is theta. So how we can relate them in the first quadrant, that theta is equal to alpha. In the first quadrant, theta is equal to alpha. Okay, now in second quadrant, so in the second quadrant, if the line is here in the second quadrant, this angle is alpha, and this angle from this side, that is theta. Now reference angle does not depend on the direction of angle. It can have any anti-clock or clockwise direction, but positive angle must always be in anti-clockwise direction with positive x-axis. So this line, now in second quadrant, you know that these two, you can name them as supplementary angles. So sum of supplementary angles made on a straight line, you know very well that their sum is 180 degrees. So you can say that theta is equal to 180 minus alpha, or you can also say that theta plus alpha is equal to 180 degrees. So their sum is 180, or if you want to find theta from the reference angle, you can subtract it from 180 degrees. Or if positive angle is given, you can find its reference angle in the second quadrant by subtracting that angle from 180 degrees. So in any one of these three ways, you can understand the meaning of or the relation between theta and alpha in second quadrant. Now in third quadrant basic angle, that will be like here, in third quadrant this is alpha, and what will be theta? Theta is now this much. Theta, once again keep in mind that it is angle is anti-clockwise from positive x-axis. Alpha is with the nearest x-axis, acute angle, and theta is starting from positive x-axis anti-clockwise till the line where that is drawn. So in third quadrant, you can see that this much angle, this angle is 180 plus alpha, that will become equal to theta. 180 plus alpha is theta. So in third quadrant, theta is equal to 180 plus alpha. We will discuss its applications in another video. So far we are just discussing or trying to understand the relationship between all these angles. Now fourth quadrant, if a line is in fourth quadrant, then what will be the relation between positive angle and reference angle? This is positive x-axis, y-axis, line is here, then this angle must be its reference angle, and its theta is now from here till here. This is theta. You can see this is anti-clockwise starting from positive x-axis and until the line drawn in fourth quadrant. Okay, in a complete circle, you know that the sum of all the angles in a circle, that is 360 degrees. So you can see that from here this theta plus alpha combined, sum of these two angles make one cycle of 360 degrees. So we can say that sum of these two angles is equal to 360 degrees. Okay, then theta plus alpha, that is equal to 360 degrees. This is how we can relate positive and basic angle or reference angle. So that's it. In the same way, in the same context, you can also relate that reference angle and negative angle, or positive angle and negative angle. Accordingly, you can relate them. If you have a sense of the quadrants and the value of angle in a certain quadrant, then I think you can relate them easily. So, and that is about general angles. This for the students who have done only a O-level mathematics, that this might be something new for them, but just look into it and try to practice it. It won't be that difficult to understand. So, so far, Allah Hafiz.